This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. The Gamma Racing Day, one of the biggest race events in the Netherlands, with its unique combination of bike racing, supercars and motorsports on one day. It's always been a great success. The number of people in the grandstands and lining the track grows every year. Sunday the 4th of August, over 80,000 fans came to the Circuit of Assen to see one man in particular, David Coulthard, the multiple Grand Prix winner, demonstrating the Red Bull Formula One car. And just when you think you've seen it all, the bizarre. A stunt plane lands on the back straight to do a lap of the track. It's always a great day out, not just for the demos, but for the racing too. And for the 12th year in a row, the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop is part of the programme. In this show, we'll bring you all the action from the weekend. We start with the highs and lows of Saturday's race for the SuperGT, GT, GTB and Supersport divisions. The weather was great at Assen all weekend, normal summer temperatures and clear and dry. 40 cars ready for the rolling start and 60 minutes. Pole position in Super GT, Henry Zumbrink in the blue Volvo S60. Next to him on the front row, Jim Geddy with the McLaren GT3. Second row, Barry Van Elk in the blue Mosler and Peter Huvenaars in the Dodge Viper GT3 next to him. Getting ready for the red lights to go out, speeding up towards the start-finish line. Bob Herber on the fourth row of the grid. They go 3-4 wide in front on the fast front straight at Assen. That's Roger Grals right in front of us in the Corvette. He's moved up to third and Herber's sideways on the grass facing the rest of the field. 30 plus cars stream by him. Amazingly, nobody hits him as he rejoins dead last. Everybody complaining about the grip levels being very low, and that's because of what was left on the circuit by the truck festival the week before. Problems from the McLaren driver Jim Geddy being chased by two Vipers, Peter Huvenaars and Barry Mason. And in Steckenval, it all goes wrong for Geddy. Little offline, Huvenaars sneaks by, tries to shut the door, but Mason was there at the apex. Well, after struggling to get the car restarted, the gearbox packed up, so they lost the championship lead with a 0 on Saturday. And to make it worse, the car being loaded back into the trailer. Glyn Geddy explains the problem.
After yesterday's damage, the engine's gone, so I don't know if it was going or if it was gone afterwards. So it was better off just leaving it and seeing what happens at Zandvoort.
Barry Van Elk recovered well from a poor start to take the lead from Henry Zumbrink before the pit window opened, so perhaps a chance for a win? Well, no, the car would not restart after the stop, had to be pushed by the team, and he dropped back to third place. Open goal then for Jan Verslijs, recovering from a heavy crash at Zolder, taking the lead in his Ferrari, but he ended up being chased by Henry Zumbrink's Volvo in the closing stages. The Volvo the winner of the last race at Zolder, and with just a few laps to go, it turned into an epic dice. And Ruskenhoek, Zumbrink doing it by the book, forcing Verslijs to defend on the inside and then driving around the outside, but he found himself on the dirty part of the track, unable to get by. Same story too at Steckenval, Verslijs defending early, Zumbrink with the ideal racing line. In traffic, the counter-attack from Verslijs, contact, and the Volvo ends up with a damaged rear axle, but he will finish in fifth. The Ferrari continues undamaged. From behind, it's the simple case of two cars in one bit of track, and Jan Verslijs said, well, I was next to him, the video will show. Anyway, he turned in and we collided. He ended up sideways across my nose. I had to lift and managed to get away.
Liften en dan van elkaar zien weg te komen.
Zumbrink's got a different view of it. He said he hit me doing about 230 right in the rear wheel. We both went off at high speed. I think it was a completely hopeless overtaking manoeuvre. And race control agree. They hand Jan Verslijs a drive-through penalty. He came in on the very last lap to lose as little time as possible, and his lead was big enough to still win the race by just 0.6 of a second from Peter Huvenaars. The Ferrari team delighted. They worked very hard to fix the car after the Zolder crash. Jan Verslijs taking valuable championship points with Huvenaars second, Barry Van Elk in third. Frenchman Pierre-Etienne Bourdais' Volvo won the GT division after an exciting battle with Jan van der Kooi in his Lotus Exige.
Ah ouais, très très dur. Le circuit, je le connaissais pas, c'est la première fois que je cours.
Very difficult race, says Pierre-Etienne. First time I've raced here in Assen. It's really hard because you don't get any rest in the car. Didn't even have time to get a drink, but I had a great battle with Van der Kooi. Great race, really enjoyed it, and the team gave me a superb car, so fantastic. In the GTB division, Rennie Weinen and Charlie Freins won their 4th race ahead of other Porsche rivals, Marcel van Berlo, Patrick Lamster and Mark Nines. Super result, says Charlie. Rennie had some trouble keeping up with the others. He got stuck in traffic, but he recovered well, chased down the leaders in the class and brought the car in as the leader. And after result seconds, I left the result in 2nd place. Managed to set some good times in my stint. Car was perfect, so I took the lead, and hopefully we can do the same again next time. I didn't have to push too hard because we had got a good lead. Hopefully we can repeat this tomorrow. Supersport's turning into the biggest and most competitive class in the challenge. There was a massive battle for the lead right from the start, with guest driver Andre de Vries in the white BMW 1 Series GTR taking the lead from championship leader Luc de Kock in the little Lotus 211 GT4. Tough luck though for the numbers 2 in the championship, Peter van Zullen and Koen Bokaerts. They snapped a drive shaft ending their race, and that drive shaft ended up on the track as well, leading to this moment.
In de Ramshoek was een Porsche.
Massive scare for Jimmy Adriansens, and he says in Ramshoek, René Snell's Porsche came by me and he flicked up a drive shaft that was on the line in the track. I was doing about 210 kilometers an hour. Drive shaft smashed into the windscreen. Luckily, it didn't come right the way through. Of course, there was glass everywhere, but luckily no injuries, no other damage apart from the windscreen. We managed to finish the race. Still took 4th in the Seat class, thanks to somebody else dropping out, so got to be reasonably happy with that result. Nevertheless, though, that was a bit of a lucky escape. Andre de Vries won the race in the white Power Motorsports BMW 1 Series GTR, and it gets close in the Supersport Championship, now sharing 2nd place in the standings, Robin and Ferry Monster on the right and Mark van der Arm-Bas Schouten on the left. Mark saying Bas did a great job finishing the race. Andre was too far away to catch, but he was getting slower though towards the end. Bas did some really great lap times, got closer and closer. Not to be, but did a great job. Well, that was Saturday. This is Sunday. Everybody's ready on the pre-grid, and always a great opportunity for the fans to get their pictures. Good opportunity for drivers to bury the hatchet perhaps before the next race as well. It's over 45 minutes and temperatures are rising in the blistering sunshine, so better to have a cool head and know your enemies out on the track. Pole again in the hands of Henry Zumbrink in the blue Volvo S60 V8. Ready for the 2nd start of the weekend, and with no Geddes, Barry van Elk moves up to the front row with a Mosler MT900R. Well, 3rd place, but lined up in completely the wrong place. Peter Hovenaars in the Dodge Viper SRT10. He knows he should be 3rd, and he'll move over during the warm-up lap. As the field heads off for one warm-up lap of the 4.5 kilometre TT Circuit at Assen, 40 cars in Super GT, GT, GTB and Super Sport. Top 8 on the grid, all from Super GT. Pole for Henry Zumbrink ahead of Barry van Elk, and then the American muscle cars Peter Hovenaars and Roger Graals. 9th place on the grid, Bert de Huys, he's the pole sitter in GT. Charlie Freins sharing with Rennie Weinen the pole sitter in the GTB class. They're in 12th place in their Porsche ahead of Rudy Lemons, Eric Fick. 2nd in GTB, Marcel van Berlo, 3rd in that class. P1 in the Supersport class, Andre de Vries. 2nd spot in the championship is shared by Mark van der Aar, who lines up in 3rd place in the category. And the Monster Brothers, they start 10th in their class. They have a lot of work to do in that Seat Leon Super Copa. So a massive field, and the high speed, high temperatures will mean it's going to be very punishing work indeed for the drivers. So finishing the warm-up lap through the legendary Ramshoek corner, banked to the left. If you get it wrong here, your race is definitely over. 45 minutes, 26 laps. So on board again with Bob Herber, deep at the business end of the field. They start in 7th place. Looking back, there is the Viper Peter Hovenaars now on the right side of the road. There are your front row men. We're with Roger Graals in 4th place in the Corvette. Lights go off And the two V8 engine cars, the Volvo and the Mosler, side by side, trying to lock out those first two positions. But look at that, the Ferrari up the inside. Great start from Jan Verslijs. He moves into second, ahead of Peter Huvenaars and Roger Graals, losing ground there, as is Barry van Elk, traditionally little cautious away at the start to avoid those first corner dramas. The Volvo a little offline, he drifts out wide. Verslijs right with him, don't forget they collided in race one. Will Huvenaars pick up the pieces here? The Volvo just giving the Ferrari enough room to survive, and Huvenaars' car you saw snap sideways under power. On board then with Roger Graals, the Corvette, thundering by the Mosler, which shares the same Corvette motor. And there is Barry van Elk's view of the black and yellow Mini going by. So lead quartet due to be joined by Graals, and then Van Elk with Bob Herber behind. This is Jan van der Kooi attacking Pierre-Etienne Bourdais. This is for second place in the GT class. But De Hoos in his Dodge Viper is leading that little group. The battle is right behind. The Lotus got by, there they go through the shot. Bourdais, the race one winner, down to third. Bottom of your screen, Luc de Kock, the open Lotus, that's the Supersport lead. You can see the white BMW 1 Series there of Andre de Vries. He was on pole, now he's in third and struggling. How did that happen? So here we are, on board with Luc de Kock at the start. Now you can see Peter van Solen and Mark van der Aar, the pink and white car, that's Van Solen. Mark van der Aar, the orange machine, he goes through. So Lotus losing out on outright grunt here. Car off on the outside. And Luc de Kock, oh my goodness, threads the eye of a needle there. Gets away with no damage, but still hemmed in by BMWs. Now look at the Porsche in front. He's going to take the inside line and follow the yellow and blue machine. BMW's going the long way around the outside. The little Lotus picks up speed well though off the slower corner. And that Porsche right in front adding a little bit of blocking effect as well. And he gets through into the lead. On board with Peter Huvenaars in third place. Jan Verslijs right in front of us, and Henry Tumbrink, the leader. You can just see the blue Volvo S60 towards the end of the lap, coming up to the Timmer chicane. The Ferrari's on the brakes, and look at this. Great late lunge down the inside by Huvenaars. Gathers it all together and catches Jan Verslijs completely by surprise. Lead trio starting to ease away from Barry Mason, Roger Graals and the rest. Race is soon over for Barry van Elk, being towed back in past the damaged Speedtech Silhouette. Marcel ter Horst, massive front end damage, and that happened early on. Well, that car was damaged in this first lap accident. Dirk Schultz spun his Porsche GT3 and everybody had to try and guess which way to go. Jimmy Adriansen's guess is right, but got hit from behind as he braked hard. And that was Marcel ter Horst. Here comes the Speedtech Silhouette. He's trying to find a gap as well. Cars are stationary in front, and he just can't avoid the back of the Seat. Henry Zumbrink still leading the race from Peter Huvenaars and Jan Verslijs. On board with Bob Herber, chasing Roger Graals. This is the battle for fifth position then. Good run through the chicane. The Ferrari's got speed here. Carries it to the inside. Down he goes into Harbocht and through the growling Corvette of Roger Graals down to sixth position. Now Bob Herber chasing Barry Mason right in front of us. Mason's Dodge Viper again carries lots of speed, but the nimbler Ferrari closing right in under braking. Again the Timmer chicane, a big challenge to slow the heavy Viper down. The Ferrari dives through, he's got better momentum. It's the same move that he put in on Roger Graals, and the same result. This time he's up to fourth spot. Herber's charge continues now, closing on fellow Ferrari driver Jan Verslijs. This should be a little more even, but Herber has got his tail up. Verslijs in front, runs a little wide, and that is going to slow him down. He'll lose traction. Bob Herber really pushing hard here. Looks inside, looks outside, forces the defensive move from Verslijs and counters. And through he goes, up to third. Well, Jan Verslijs down to fourth place, but having a little bit better luck than Peter Verslijs, the guest driver, up from seventh from 22nd on the grid. But look, desperately fiddling with the brake balance, trying to get the pedal to come back. He's got no brakes left. Something has gone, and he goes off through the gravel trap at Strubben. He's headed for retirement. It's been a great start from Henry Zumbrink. Will the pole man hang on to the lead? And who will win in GT and GTB? And in the ever exciting Supersport division? Stay with us to find out. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Gamma Racing Day 2013 at the TT Circuit of Assen. SuperGT, GT, GTB and Super Sport classes racing in the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop. In Super GT, Henry Zumbrink's blue Volvo S60 Silhouette had pole and hung on to the lead in the early going. Peter Hovenaars with the Dodge Viper taking second from Jan Versluys, and that's where we are right now. 18-year-old Peter Hovenaars pushing very hard. The Viper got plenty of power, but it's a little heavier. Makes it hard to attack, but he needs to get closer. The leader only has 5 result seconds. Peter Hovenaars has 20 seconds longer stationary time because of earlier podium results. In Saturday's race, he got a 20-second penalty for leading the pit lane too early as well. This time they'll try not to make any mistakes. As a result, he's perhaps a bit late and finds himself behind Barry Mason, who has no result seconds in his Viper. Mason's still looking to score his first podium of the season. Hovenaars already with 4 podium finishes, but wants to win his first race before the end of the season. So the battle is on for second place. Hovenaars and the red and white Viper desperate to try and get back in front of the yellow and white car, but makes a mistake at Steckenval. He's off in the gravel. Well, these things often come with a penalty, and it's not long before something else goes wrong, and he is a disappointed spectator pulling off at the side of the road. Unfortunately, we dropped out with an electrical problem like in the beginning of the season. In fact, it's happened 3 or 4 times now. The fuse keeps popping out. Before the pit stops, we were one of the quickest cars on track. It was pretty easy to follow Zumbrink, the leader. But driving the Viper means taking care of your tyres, so I couldn't push too hard. I followed him instead of attacking for the lead to keep the tyres in good shape. Unfortunately, the pit stop was a little long and ended up behind Barry Mason. It was quick again, but made a mistake, ended in the gravel. That cost me time, and then Jan Versluys caught me. But I managed to get up close to Barry again. A lap later, though, it was all over thanks to the fuse. Hope for better luck next time. Well, there's to be no problems this time for Henry Zumbrink. From his second pole of the weekend, he claims victory in a dominant manner. The Dutch Volvo dealer, a happy man, and he's even congratulated by first race rival Jan Versluys. Well, it's a great end to what looked like a horrible racing weekend, he says. We won with speed, nothing else. Everything went well. Hovenaars was able to chase me early on. I had some problems with the car that I had to sort out, but in the second half I built on my speed to win. Wonderful. So a happy family all round as he tops the podium. Henry Zumbrink ahead of Barry Mason, who does get his first podium of the season. Jan Versluys in third place, and with the Geddys scoring a 0-0 weekend, there's a change in the championship lineup as well. It's Corvette driver Roger Graus who is now on top of the point standings. Jim and Glyn Geddy slipped to second. Versluys up to third. Henry Zumbrink down to fourth place, just 1 point behind after no scoring on Saturday. Well, Jan van der Kooi should have won the race, but he was handed a drive-through penalty for pit stop problems. He protested and that was upheld, so he gets the points for the race win, but he drops to third place in the race on the track. So the battle for the lead between Bert de Huys in the orange Viper and Aaron Scott, the British driver, not able to get by though on his first trip to Assen. So Aaron Scott, Craig Wilkins, a 5th podium finish for them. Bert de Huys on top step. Jan van der Kooi, third place on the road. but he was reinstated to get maximum points for the race. In the beginning, says Bert, it was easy to open up a lead, but near the end I had to push really hard. The front tyres were gone, I had no grip at all, so I had to work really hard to keep Aaron Scott behind me. But it worked out in the end, so I'm happy. Well, Pierre-Etienne Bourdais is still the championship leader, but Wilkins and Scott moving up to third, Van der Kooi up to fourth as they close on the top two. The GTB class saw the return of Jackie van der Ende's blue V8 Ford Mondeo Silhouette, and the ex-single-seater ace taking the lead after a couple of laps of the circuit, having started 7th on the grid, and he would hold it through the race. KTM Crossbow drivers Rudy Lemons and Eric Fick taking second place in GTB, and nimble KTM doing very well. Battle for third between Marcel van Berlo and Rennie Weinen here. Weinen taking third spot going into Haarbocht. Van Berlo trying to counter-attack. Well, another close battle between the Porsche drivers. This time they are chasing the front runners though. The Ford Mondeo of Jackie van der Ende back in the championship and back on form. So confirmation, Jackie van der Ende winning from Rudy Lemons and Eric Fick. Charlie Frans and Rennie Weinen ending up completing the podium just ahead of Marcel van Berlo.
Ja, dit is leuk terugkomen.
Well, it's been a great comeback, said Jackie van der Ende. I'm very happy I was in the lead before the pit stop, so nobody can say we won because we didn't have any result seconds. Today we were definitely the fastest thing on track in our class. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, yesterday we just had so much bad luck. I knew if the car kept going with no problems we could win today, and that's what happened. So thanks to the boys. The car's held together with duct tape. It looks like crap, but it works. Changes in the championship then. Frans and Weinen move up to second spot as Rudy Lemons drops to third, just 2 points between them. Lamstra and Nines, though, still out front. In the Supersport class, Luc de Kock lost the lead to experienced Assen expert Andre de Vries, the white BMW heading to its second win of the weekend. Bad luck again for JR Motorsport drivers Koen Boekhart and Peter van Solen. Van Solen already ended up in the gravel before the pit stops, and after them Koen Boekhart trying to pass Ronald van Loon here at Ruskenhoek. Gets it all wrong, takes the shortcut, but ends up misjudging the pass, and there's contact. And that spells the end of the road for Boekhart and van Solen, losing vital championship points in their BMW. Battle for second in Supersport between the Seat of Robin Monster and the BMW 1 Series 3.2 GTR of Bas Schouten and Mark van der Aar. Schouten at the wheel, great action as they race wheel to wheel around the TT circuit, and just occasionally closer than that. And it's not just the battle for second in the race, but also for second in the championship halfway through the season. So it's vital stuff. The 2-litre turbocharged front-wheel drive Seat of Robin Monster and the BMW 1 Series Bas Schouten 3.2-litre normally aspirated, so different in concept and yet so close together as they race towards the checkered flag. Time is running out for the BMW driver, gets alongside again but only half alongside, runs out of road. Well, this is real pressure for Robin Monster. Schouten sticking the nose of the BMW into the back bumper or inside the wheel arches, trying to go around the outside at almost every corner. And this is one of the great successes of the Supersport class. So many cars and so many different cars battling so tightly on the racetrack. And this classic TT Circuit at Assen is a fast-flowing motorcycle track, not always quite as wide, you sense, as Bas Schouten would like it. Again, heavy braking, last lunge at the chicane. Schouten leaps across, but Monster is still in front as they start the last lap. Well, Bas Schouten ignoring that overheating problem as he continues to attack. The BMW good in the braking area and into the turns, the Seat better on the way out. But he's got to hold off the BMW at every single one of the corners around this 4.5 kilometre circuit. Keep it tight, wheels on the curbs on the inside, force the BMW to go the long way round the outside, make Schouten use the speed that he's got. BMW getting a little squirrely over the curbs. The end of the lap in sight. Has Monster held on? Mascalton had a big lunge last time at the Get Timber chicane, but this time the Seat is clear in front. The checkered flag is out. Second place goes to Robin Monster. Fantastic, he said. Closest battle I've ever had in this class. Really tough, fair though. Bumping, boring, door handle to door handle, but that's no problem. We had a similar battle yesterday. I gave way too easily. Today he was really going to have to give it everything to get by. There was no way I was going to let him get by easily. So Andre de Vries claiming victory in his BMW ahead of Robin and Ferry Monster. Bas Carlton and Mark van der Aar again on the podium in third. Luc de Kock in fifth. So double win for Andre de Vries. He said, at home it's a great feeling. It's not just that I know the track. The car was flying. I could push really hard. The car was great. And if the car's right and you know the track, victory is the only option. A perfect combination today. Well, Luc de Kock leading the Supersport class still. Kimbo Kart's Peter van Solen dropping to fourth place. Monsters up to second, just ahead of Scouten and Van der Aar. Still to come from the Gamma Racing Day, the Superlights division featuring the Radicals, the Pragas, the Normas and much more as they combine with the Sport division. Stay with us. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. The annual Gamma Racing Day at the TT Circuit of Assen is one of the biggest free events in the Netherlands. It combines motorbike racing, supercarts and racing cars in one day and attracts around 80,000 fans. One of the highlights, David Coulthard demoing the Red Bull Formula One car. The fans in the grandstand getting to see it up close. And for those that want to get even closer, a paddock ticket gives the fans the chance to enjoy the atmosphere among the teams and get really close to the cars. And that's also the philosophy of the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop. To make sure that the fans get closer to motorsport, you can almost touch the cars parked in the paddock and in the team awnings. And if you're lucky, you might even get a chance of a guided tour by one of the drivers. Barry Van Elk here explaining his Mosler MT900R. With such a wide variety of cars in any one championship, a bit of explanation goes a long way. The Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop is one of the biggest GT and touring car series in Europe, and the organisation has added a new division this season, the Superlights, nimble super-fast cars like Praga, Norma and Radical. And Radical has a special treat for the fans, making its debut on Dutch soil their first production car for road as well as track day use, the RXC.
Ja, is dat niet mooi? Ik vind het zelf ook geweldig.
Isn't it great, says the Benelux importer Henk Thees. I think it's a really great car and it's very special for us as the Radical importer to be able to debut this beautiful car today. It's the brand new RXC, the Radical Extreme Coupe. It's been developed by Radical as a new step in their model range. They've been very successful with their open cars. They've sold up to 1,300 of them now. That's amazing taking into consideration the economic crisis. But at some stage the customers have asked for a car that's got a roof. Well, if you look behind me, that's exactly what Radical have built. And in my opinion, it's an absolute beauty. Car weighs around 900 kilos. It's powered by a 3.7 litre Ford V6 with around 350 horsepower. It's been designed so you can put number plates on it and be street legal. Unique suspension system makes sure it's suitable for normal street use and for circuit racing. You can race for 2 hours without refueling. It's got air conditioning, so it's basically a luxury track day car. It's quite remarkable. It's got a 7-speed gearbox and that makes it perfect for any circuit. You really don't have to change anything. Top speed should be somewhere around 270, 280 kilometers an hour, and that should be enough. It's a great toy.
Ja, dat is een heel echt lekker speeltje hoor.
I think everybody loves this kind of thing. I mean, it really pulls on your heartstrings to see something that looks like it should be on the track down the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans, parked in the paddock here. And genuinely, we've driven it to and from the hotel while we've been here to jump in, drive, flick the air conditioning on. It's just a nice place to be, and people stop genuinely and think, what is this car? So that's something over time that people will get used to seeing, but genuinely the concept is very, very good.
Radical's SR3 is the best-selling sports car in the world, and now they're also aiming at the most versatile track day car ever. And whether you think it's pretty or not, it sure is quick. Well, the RXE won't get to race in the Superlight events. It'll be on pace car duty over the weekend. But SR3s and SR8s are there, the fastest on the front row of the grid. Pole position going to Martin Short in his SR8. Well, the British driver holds the lead through the first couple of laps after a poor start from rival Henk Tace. The Tace benefits from in-depth knowledge of the TT circuit, takes the lead and opens up a big gap. It all ends in tears near the end. He spills oil at the chicane and the start-finish straight, and the race is neutralised as the marshals clear everything up. After the restart, Martin Short's in a race of his own. He wins miles ahead of second place Bob Rosenberg.
It's a great gift from Henk. I feel really sorry for him because he was just fantastic. I couldn't touch him, he was gone. Nowhere near him. So I just had to sit there and take my punishment, and it was a real shame to see he had some engine problem. I ended up spinning on his oil as well. So it's not a nice victory. It was his, definitely his, not mine. However, I'll take it.
Well, in the SR3 class, Kokopian took the lead but dropped out with mechanical problems as well. Victory going to Belgium driver Wim Juris in front of Rob Campus and Rick van Geffen, but it wasn't an easy win. We've got to stay focused every second, says Wim. Really keep pushing. The cars in our class are so equal. You have to be 100% perfect or you'll lose spots. So it's a great, great race. In the CM prototype class, again, Italian twins Nicola and Stefano Doval outpaced their rivals as they had last time out at Zolder. They raced away from the other CN cars like the Norma M20F of David Hotoft and Philippe de Klerk. CN class cars have a normally aspirated 2-litre Honda engine producing around 225 horsepower, and they weigh only 520 kilos. The cars are equally matched, but still the Italian Wolf design and Bascoten racing team seem to be combining very well. Here at Assen, they again scored maximum points in their class.
Came first class and second overall, like the other time. So we're happy about it. And we'll see if we can do better the next race. But still, this is the best we can do, so we're glad about it.
In the class with the Slovakian Praga R1s, again, there are new faces. This is Gabriela Yilkova, the 18-year-old Czech. She shares the car this weekend with 24-year-old Dutch girl Priscilla Spelman, a familiar face in the Supercar Challenge. Their blue and white Praga is number 704. Another familiar name is that of Jean Charuz. The ex-Formula One test driver and FIA World Endurance Championship regular drives Praga number 705. And the Czech ace was able to keep up with Praga factory driver Danny van Dongen to win Saturday's race. Not a bad debut at all, given that it's also his first time on the Assen track.
It was my first race in the Praga R1, which is, in my opinion, a great car. I'm part of the Praga team, which makes me very proud, and working on developing the car now to be even better. And this is my first race, and I'm very happy to win in the first race.
In the sports division, competing together with the Superlights in one race this weekend, it's Erik van den Munkhoff battling with Dennis de Borst for second place behind championship leader Art Bosman. It's a fierce tussle, each putting the other under pressure. Van den Munkhoff forcing de Borst onto the slippery green runoff area, and de Borst almost loses the car. We see it again from Wesley Carranza's BMW 1 Series. He benefits from de Borst's moment, taking third place before the pit stops. After the stops, Erik van den Munkhoff moved up into the lead. The Carranza brothers taking second, Rob Neiman third with his Renault Clio. Van den Munkhoff finally back on the top step of the podium.
Eindelijk, na een hele hoop ellende wat we hebben gehad.
Finally, after all the bad luck we've had, we've managed to get a win. He said, I'm very happy. Everything worked out well this time. The car was good. I managed to stay out of trouble. That's all you need to win races. I think we deserved it, so I'm happy.
Yes.
Time now to take a look at the second race of the weekend on Sunday. This young fan enjoying the parade towards the pre-grid where the cars line up before they're released onto the track, and that's a great opportunity to get close to the cars and to meet the drivers. On the sunny grid, we find Henk Tace on pole position. The team fixed his red Radical SR8. Both car and driver are ready to rock. Martin Short alongside him on the front row, another Radical SR8. And with two identical cars, it'll come down to the driving skills of these racing veterans. Third is pole sitter in the CN class, the Wolf GBO8 of Nicola and Stefano Deval. Stefano starting the race. In the sports division, it's Art Bosman, the points leader, who starts from the class pole once more. He's already won 5 times this season, but on Saturday wasn't able to stay with his rivals. He's starting on old tyres. He couldn't match their pace, and he's got the same strategy this time. Maybe he's trying to shed a few result seconds. Eric van der Munkhoff really needs to push hard this time because he won on Saturday. He's gained 15 result seconds. That means longer stationary in the pits during the mandatory stops, and his rivals can take advantage. There'll be no room for error, or he won't win again. Just take a look at the grid then. Henk Tace on pole position and in the SR8 class ahead of Martin Short. Stefano Nicola Deval, they start on pole ahead of Denny van Dongen. Pole for the Praga R1s. Rick van Geffen for the SR3s. And a little further back in the sport class, it is Art Bosman's Lotus Exige Cup that is the pole sitter for those cars. We're starting 14th, Ko Kopian in his Radical SR3 right at the tail of their field. Lots of work to do. He had a heavy crash in practice that wrecked the car. The team have worked very hard. We'll have to see if he can produce a result in race 2. The green Honda of Michael Verhagen is last on the grid. He's got lots of work to do. We sit with Kopian at the back of the SR3 field of radicals. Here we go then. Henk Tace taking the rolling start from pole position, waiting for the red lights to change. And away they go. Rushing down towards the first corner, Martin Short on the outside, and the white and blue SR8 takes the lead into the Haarbocht. Rob Campers drifts out wide, so too David Hotoft, and that moves Kopian up to 11th. Supercar in front, that's Wim Juris looking for 10th. Oh, squeezes through. Now he's bunched up behind the 2 Praga R1s. Peter Rademacher has taken the lead. Rick van Geffen in the black and gold SR3 is his next target, and Philippe de Klerk spins on cold tyres, loses 5th place in his Norma. Martin Short leading from Henk Tace, the 2 Radical SR8s. Third now Stefano Deval in his Black Wolf. 4th Danny van Dongen's Praga. 5th Weber Rademacher, the lead SR3. Oh, but maybe not for long. Big mistake there. He gets it all wrong. Does he hold the lead? He does, right behind with Kopian, but Rademacher in front, going very slowly. Lead 3 go through. Well, that's a disaster for Weber Rademacher. Car going very slowly indeed. And behind them, here come the sport class. Art Bosman, the green and orange Lotus Exige, still leading in the sport division. Dennis de Borst second in the Renault Clio. And Rademacher has to pull off. On board again with Ko Kopian, right in front, Jan Charuz. That's for 7th place. We're second in SR3 at the moment. Charuz second in the Praga R1 class. Now both cars with about 210 horsepower. The Praga more downforce, it's a little heavier. Brakes a little deeper than the Radical. Kopian's got a good run here in the slipstream. Cheating the wind, he goes by the Czech driver into the braking area at Ruskenhoek, and he is through. And the class leader right in front in the black and gold car. Well, this is a great drive up through the field from Kopian. Rick van Geffen in front of him. Battle for the lead in SR3. And Jan Charuz giving chase in his Praga R1. Oh, mistake there by Rick van Geffen, and he spins away on the loose. And a change of lead in the class. Ko Kopian is leading in SR3. Martin Short narrowly in front of Henk Tace. Let's get back to the lead battle These Radical SR8's an entirely different beast, much more power, more grip, and a much more throaty engine noise through the Get Timber chicane and onto the start-finish straight. Oh, he's got a good run going here. This for the lead of the race, and in SR8's, he's got the overlap on the inside. Into the hard box, he's in front. Well, that's a classic Assen move. Good run through the chicane, setting up the pass. And a lap later in the slipstream, Martin Short replays the move from his viewpoint as he retakes the advantage at the front of the field. Well, busy action with all the open prototypes. And they've yet to catch the sport class runners. Let's take a look at the start of their race from Dennis de Borst, fourth in his Renault Clio. That's Moritz Carranza in front of him in the BMW 1 Series, the Ford Focus. Erik van den Munkhoff, Art Bosman just visible in front, the orange rear of his Lotus Exige. Whoa, up the inside. And a little bumping and boring there, easing van den Munkhoff off onto the dust. And that's payback for the previous race. Van den Munkhoff trying to get it all back together. What goes around comes around. A lap later, Moritz Carranza out with technical problems in the BMW 1 Series. So Art Bosman leading the race from Dennis de Borst and Erik van den Munkhoff. And battle about to be rejoined. The Ford Focus silhouette down the inside. And safely through into second. Yes, no contact this time. Maybe honours are now even. Well, their battle is allowing Art Bosman to escape a little. At the end of lap 3, van den Munkhoff right behind the race leader. Heading into Ramsuk. Whoa, and they're both nearly off. Is there something down on the track? Or did van den Munkhoff just get distracted by Art Bosman? Bosman started on tired tyres yesterday and he's doing the same today. They're worn and they have already started to give up the ghost. So Bosman paying the price for using old tyres. Van den Munkhoff in the lead in the sport class. A couple of laps later, this is Michael Verhagen, started right at the back of the field, 9th in the class, up to 4th now, challenging Dennis de Borst's Renault Clio. Two very different cars, front-engine front-wheel drive, front-engine rear-wheel drive for the Honda, very different lines. And Dennis de Borst keeping it nice and clean, defending against the faster Honda S2000. Verhagen didn't finish Saturday's race, so he's eager to move upwards. And you sense he's got the speed, if only he can find somewhere to use it. Here we go, on the return leg back towards the pits. And this is very quick stuff. Through Hürgerheide, he's going to get the run. Around the outside before they even get to Ramtuk and the braking. And that's a good pass for 3rd. So the action is alive. Who's going to win in SR8? What will happen in the other classes in Superlights and Sport? And who's going to make it all the way to the flag in this busy race? Not everybody, that's for sure. This program is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix, and PPG Fitzner. Welcome back to the TT Circuit of Assen, the 5th round of the Supercar Challenge, the 2nd of the championship for the Superlights, and at Assen, they're combined with the Sports Division. Henk Thees and Martin Short battling for the lead in their SR8 Radicals. Short just in front. He took the lead back in a tight battle, and we continue with that action. So Martin Short with a white and blue Radical SR8 RX. Henk Thees, the Benelux importer for Radical, right behind him. Local expert here at Assen. Track knowledge, though, is being gained every lap by Martin Short. Will Thees be able to find a way past the Brit? Well, he's got a couple more tricks up his sleeve. Right up behind his British rival. Oh, Oh, and as Short drifts a little wide in Menthaven, through goes Tace into a lead he'll keep to the pit stops. Mandatory pit stops for everybody, 1 minute stationary, and then any result seconds on top of that. Martin Short has 20 more than Henk Tace, so he'll really have to push hard. He manages to get close to the Dutch radical importer before the end of the race, but not close enough to retake the lead. Henk wins his third race in the SR8 class this season, but it wasn't all easy going. Right from the start, he was pushing hard to take the lead. He was away and gone. He was really on fire today. I had to work so hard to get close to him, even harder to get by him. But I was able to win, and that's great news, especially in front of all these fans. Really got to say thanks to the guys. They worked very hard to replace the engine that was ruined in Saturday's race after oil problems. It's been a good weekend. I'm looking forward to the next one. This is absolutely fantastic. Well, Martin Short still has the championship lead, 8 points ahead of Henk Tace. In CN Prototypes, another perfect run for the Duval brothers. They haven't kept a clean sheet this year so far. They dropped out of race 1 in Zolder. Buzz Curtin's team's been working very hard to make the car more reliable, and that paid off with another victory for the Wolf GB08. A great result, given it's the brothers' first time at Assen.
The tracks that are built for motorbikes are very difficult for us, but it's very interesting to come here and to see it. It's very technical. Unfortunately, we had little time for practice because we had, I think, 35 minutes of practice, 30 minutes of qualifying, and then race 1. So we actually tried to do some testing on the races. So we try something on race 1, something else in race 2. So for the next time we have some data more than just 30 minutes of free practice that weren't enough.
In SR3, we saw Kurt Koppian taking the lead. He's now miles ahead, and the battle for second between Wim Juris in the silver SR3 and the black and gold machine of Rick van Geffen. He gets ahead in Haarbocht and opens up a gap big enough to survive a drive-through penalty for not complying with the pit stop rules without losing that second place. And that leaves him Juris battling for third with Rob Campus. Juris has a much heavier SR3 SL, but he's got more power too, so what he loses in the corners, he makes up for on the straights. And this battle of different cars continues till Campus gets caught out behind a sports competitor and they collide in Ruskenhoek. Well, with the high approach speeds of the prototype cars and their extreme braking capabilities, collisions are always a possibility. The BMW doesn't see him and turns in. There's nothing Rob can do.
Nou ja, we rijden dit weekend samen met een langzamere klasse.
Well, we're mixed in this weekend with the slower sports touring cars. Our cars are just too low for them to really see us in their mirrors. I'm sure he hadn't seen me. He turned in while I was turning into the corner as well. I was doing 150 Ks, so it's a pretty hard bang. And the thing is, you know he's coming and it's too late. You can see what's going to happen. I was doing 200 Ks before I hit the brakes. I was braking extra hard to avoid hitting him, and that's why he only hit the front of the car, but there was so much damage, just couldn't continue. Well, Campus still leads the championships with 77 points, 1 ahead of Wiebo Rademacher and 3 ahead of Wim Juris. Winner Ko Koppian in 4th spot in the standings. Koppian, Rick van Geffen and Wim Juris completing the podium on Sunday. Koppian saying yesterday we led by 20 seconds, then the clutch went and it all was over. Managed to fix it yesterday and today it worked fine. I won by nearly a minute, so that one was easy, although the weekend started with a lot of problems. It's a shame, caused a lot of work to keep us going, but we're fine, the sun's shining and still happy with the weekend today. In the Praga R1 division, Jan Charuz, number 705, couldn't stay with Denny van Dongen, the test driver this time. Van Dongen absolutely flying in Sunday's race to take the win. Charuz ending up second. Lady driver Priscilla Spelman in third. Well, we should have tested before the weekend, she said, but that was cancelled unfortunately, and that showed in the race. I managed to improve by 3.3 seconds on my qualifying time during the race, so things are looking a bit better for next time, and I'm happy. In the Sport division, Erik van den Munkhoff in the Ford Focus Silhouette led up to the pit stops. Another back-to-front drive, Michael Verhagen coming in from last in the class in 3rd place. With fewer result seconds than rivals Van der Munkhoff and Bosman, he knows he can benefit after the stops. He leaves without any dramas, while in addition to his 10 extra result seconds, Van der Munkhoff has an overheating problem. The team putting ice on the overheating component to prevent the hot weather putting an end to his chances of winning. Well, while he's stationary, they managed to bring the temperature down and avert the drama. Van der Munkhoff races on, the Ford Focus silhouette closing on Michael Verhagen right towards the end of the race. The battle is on, but the Honda driver crosses the line just 5 seconds ahead to claim his second win of the season. Erik van der Munkhoff, Dennis de Borst completing the podium, and Verhagen very happy with his drive from the tail of the field.
Het is alles of niets. Ik ga er gewoon voor.
I had to give it everything, he said. Really had to push hard to keep Erik van der Munkhoff behind me. I managed to stay ahead, luckily, so I'm very happy. Despite the win, though, because he didn't finish on Saturday, Verhagen drops from 3rd to 5th in the points. Van der Munkhoff, with a win and second, does better. He moves up to 3rd. Rob Neiman still second, behind Art Bosman. And that's it for the Gamma Racing Day at the TT Circuit of Assen. Next time out, round 6 at Zandvoort in early September. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner.